Okay.
Hello and welcome back to another video. You don't usually see the final product at the beginning of a video, but as I was going through our footage, it wasn't as clear as it could have been. We were really cramped for time, so I'm going to walk you through this kitchen build step by step while showing you the footage from the build. So I'm squat down low to try to get a nice visual of this. We built this kitchen in two pieces. The first piece was our fridge cutout that houses the fridge and then our propane up top. And then the second piece was the sink, drawer, and cabinet combo. So here's a really confusing drawing of what we're doing. This right here is going to be a cutout space where our fridge will be. Above our fridge will be our stovetop, and then over here will be cabinets, just two cabinets that open up into one open space. Above here will be our sink, which will be in front of the side door, so you'll be able to use the faucet when you're outside of the van as well. And then we'll just have some empty counter space. And then above those cabinets we'll have some drawers. Obviously this drawer will be fake because the sink is there, but we'll have a real one right here. Down here we're also placing a toe kick, and then later on we will build a pull-up countertop and then a pull-up countertop off the back that you can use when you're outside of the van. The fridge cutout was actually very easy and simple. We just used 2x2 struts to build a rectangular frame that would fit our refrigerator. We then used 1/2-inch Baltic birch to cut almost a upside down U shape to use as a face frame and slide our fridge into. So we are taking that measurement and then we are just creating our large cutout piece, and then from this point we will, you know, cut out a internal rectangle, and then that frame will just attach right there.
Previously, we've had a lot of trouble getting straight cuts of plywood because the table saw we've been using, it's been missing a rubber piece, so it's impossible to line it up perfectly straight. So we've opted for another option, and that is just, I think the brand is Husky, and it's pretty much just like a straight line circular saw or jigsaw guide. You know, you measure the distance from the line you're cutting, you know, you mount it both perfectly each side, then you clamp it, and then you have a straight line, and you can run your circular saw across it to give you a straight cut like a table saw. Now we have the finishing faceplate for said fridge. So this will go here, make it have a nice smooth finish, not the rugged looking 2x2s. And then the fridge actually also has like a lip that goes around all this as well too. So we'll be able to nail this into the 2x2s and then screw the fridge frame into all of these. So, and then once this is mounted to the wall, fridge ain't going nowhere, and then it'll have a nice finished look on the front.
Then we were able to screw our fridge into that nice face frame that was plated on top of the 2x2s. And we just built those 2x2s up another 6 inches or so. That way we had enough room to place our propane stovetop on top of the butcher block counter, and it would not hit the fridge below it. Like most pieces in the van, we also got our propane two-top burner off of Amazon. The reason we got this particular one is because it's the only propane stovetop we could find that you didn't have to have your inverter on to light it or use a manual lighter to light it. This one has a D battery inside that allows you to ignite the stovetop without the inverter or lighter. The downside to this one in particular is I believe the regulator it comes with is basically not fit for this stovetop, which is really weird, but you can get a separate regulator, a standard regulator that works perfectly fine, and I can link those items in the description. And then our stovetop just rests right here, as you can see, we can just pull it right out, and then we got this little elbow to make sure the hosing and everything fits in this little space well. And then this hosing runs to the back of the van where we have our 20-pound propane tank, and that is where the regulator is housed. Moving on to the second piece of the kitchen, we started this from the ground up. We created a nice reinforcement at the bottom that was made out of 2x3s. This will reinforce all the cabinetry and hold it up nice. This will be our toe kick. So our piece of floor plywood will go out further than this. The sides of our kitchen, the pieces of plywood will attach here, here, and to the back of here. And then our fridge cutout will attach to this side of the plywood.
And so with all of our framing, we are pocket holing everything, just because not only is it give you a stronger connection, but you don't risk as much of a chance of like cracking wood and then having screws exposed. So this is very, very strong and sturdy. And then this will be the floor of that cabinet. It sits here, and it token comes out about 3 inches right here, and then we'll have a side as well. We can potentially make like a little cubby door right here, not the toe kick area, but like back here we can have like a little hidden department. So if we didn't have anything under our sink, we'd be able to lift that up, and we have this little stowaway space right here, so don't tell anybody.
We were then able to cut out of 1/2-inch Baltic birch the walls and the back of the kitchen. The wall dividing the fridge and the remainder of the kitchen, we just cut out a ventilation hole, and then on our back piece of plywood, we cut out another hole that we were able to just cover with a cute vent that just allows for some airflow for the refrigerator. All right, so now that we got all of our pieces cut, we just have to assemble everything, which is actually the easy part. Just like with the structure of the fridge, we did use 2x2s to structure the kitchen galley. Those acted as a place for us to screw in our walls and backing of our kitchen galley and act as extra strong support. And then on top of that, we used wood glue on everything and added extra nails wherever we could.
Okay, so we ended up getting it completely put together, well, for the most part put together. We do have our little secret compartment down there. We'll need to put like a little cutout, like just to be able to stick your finger in on one of the back corners probably, to be able to pop it up. Then we have like the generic structure of how things are gonna go. We're gonna have our sink right here, and then we're going to have a drawer right here. And we actually measured everything out and got this positioned in the right place. This will hold one of the drawer slides, and then the other drawer slide will go into this plywood. So it come out in and out right here. So we'll have probably a fake drawer over here where the sink will be, and then 2 cabinet doors down below. And we still have to add dividers right here for what will separate the drawer and the cabinetry, which we actually also will have a shelf on one side down below.
Definitely a tip. Let's say you have a 2x2 that is acting as a piece of your structure, but it also acts as a backing when you open your cabinet door and it closes and rests on it. In those cases, you're going to want to use a nice piece of finished 2x2 or 1x2 that you can get at Home Depot. It's a straight edge finished piece that will look very nice and clean when you paint it. We did forget to use a finished piece for one area right under the butcher block, but we had already wood glued it when we realized and pocket screwed, so we just left it. Luckily it's only one piece and it's barely noticeable, but those little minor things definitely make a big difference in the long run. Our drawer, fake drawer, and our cabinets are all cut out of 1/2-inch birch plywood. We also use wood edging tape to finish off all the cut edges to give it a nice finished look. We sanded, primed with Kills primer, and then we painted all of our faces white with a nice acrylic semi-gloss paint from Home Depot. I will say, keep in mind how quickly your faces will get dirty using a white paint. We went with matte black handles. I believe our drawers are 5-inch handles, and then our cabinet handles are about 7.5. I will link all the products we use in the description below. Our kitchen drawer does have an RV latch on it, and then our cabinet doors are latched with metal ball valve latches, which work perfectly fine. They just are a little noisier than I would like. I did recently add some pads, so that made it a little better, but those latches are a little noisy for cabinets. We also created this really awesome second drawer very recently inside our one kitchen drawer. Adding this second little drawer really allowed us to maximize the space. Since we just got it, we're still getting it organized, but we're gonna use the top drawer for silverware and the bottom drawer for all the other things like can openers, knives, all that jazz. And it was actually really easy to do. We used 1/2-inch Baltic birch again, and then we got really small 10-inch drawer slides. You actually turn the drawer slides opposite way, so they're in backwards and they're screwed into your first drawer. And then when you pull your first drawer out, you can push that second drawer in and then have access to the bottom. And then we still haven't painted our cabinets yet on the inside, but they are primed. We might replace these hinges so we can open the cabinets more than just this 90-degree, but we'll see. And then we installed this little shelf on all brackets just to utilize more space. We just keep our little extra napkins and towels and Ziplocs in here. And then we also got this cute garbage can off of Amazon. It's been really handy. It has a recycle bin and trash. And then we just use plastic bags, just to reuse them. And they work fine in here. And then we have some space back there for our cleaning products. And then this is where our dishes are. We just got these baskets at Target. They've come in really handy to hold our dishes. And then we built this shelf. Ricky built the shelf. And he just used a little piece of plywood that he nailed into the side of the kitchen right here. And then that would be a resting spot for a shelf. Then we just have this rounded peg holding it up here. And then we have one in the back holding the other end up. And then we got this off Amazon too, which has also been super handy. We just screwed it into our cabinet door. And it's just a towel hanger to keep everything nice and clean out here. We went with a 1.5-inch wood butcher block countertop, which we absolutely love. And then we also added an extension countertop that pops up off the end, which has been amazing. It is my go-to work spot. I love it there because I can flip the swivel seat around and just work from that spot all day while Ricky can have the couch and lagoon table to himself if he's working from home. But even when he's not, I still end up using the pop-up kitchen counter. I love it. It's also great for an extra cooking space, washing dishes, all that jazz. Highly recommend doing that. Ricky and his stepdad actually cut our butcher block, and they cut out an extra piece to fit inside of the sink. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we didn't polyurethane ours. I'm not sure, but ours did end up bowing a lot, but it still comes in oddly very useful. I thought it might get in the way. A lot of times when you're trying to use the sink every time you got to move it, but it's very convenient to have. But that's one thing to keep in mind. If you know why ours bowed, please give us a comment below and let us know. We are going to try to find a solution for that in the future, but right now it's just not our priority. But it still works. The one thing we have not finished quite yet with our kitchen is we do need to add our drop-down patio table, which will be a table that is on the back of the kitchen like many van lifers have, and then when the sliding doors open, you can drop that table down and have a little table when you're outside. We also added an outlet to the side of this kitchen so we can plug in when we're outside of the van too easily. And we made sure our sink was in front of the sliding door, that way we could use that as a little rinse off station if Aussie's outside messy or whatever and we don't want to turn the shower on in the garage. We got this beautiful gunmetal sink off Amazon. It's 14 by 18 by 10 inches deep. You can use it as an undermount sink or an overmount. As you can see, we did overmount because it was a little easier. And then we also have this cute little sponge holder in here, which has been super handy to keep our sponge sanitary. And then we have our faucet that pulls down. Like I said before, we can use this outside of the van. And then it has 2 settings. And then we have our filtration system. It's on a 5-stage water filter. All of these things I can link in the description below. We have a little sit-in soap dispenser. Another thing we're not sure if we are going to do yet or not, this isn't super related to the kitchen furniture, but the kitchen as a whole, we can't decide if we want to add backsplash or not. We might keep it just like this and hang a couple like off-centered spice racks just to jazz this up a little bit. If we do switch it to backsplash, we will end up having a magnetic spice rack up here. The biggest thing about building, especially your kitchen, because there's so many floating elements, is to just quadruple check your measurements. Check them over and over again. Make sure you calculate how big your slides are, your drawer slides are, your sink, you know, how much space you need to fit your faucet behind your sink. We had to move ours off to the side, which we didn't plan on because we didn't create enough depth for that. How much space you need for your stovetop and your fridge, and it just, especially your wood measurements. Once you measure them and you trace them out, check them again. That is definitely easily by far the hardest part about building van furniture, and especially the kitchen. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We would really greatly appreciate it. We really can't wait to show you the whole van. With that being said, next week you'll get to see our bed, so stay tuned for that. We will see you then. Bye.
Said I gotta run away, get away now. Too many games and they all trying to play out. Too many people and they all start to change now. Let me take a bet, they gon' know my name now. Yeah, we came a long way, but it's one way. Got a long way to go like it's Monday. Someday gotta be in LA. No, I gotta make it work out like chess.